Everybody, welcome back to the KHDM Chronicles. I'm your host Natan, and today we take a different journey. A different kind of journey. Normally the kind of journeys we take involve going to the medieval period, battling dragons, and exploring dungeons. But this time we're taking a journey through time, and also space. This time, we explore Doctor Who, The Adventures of Time and Space. Now, more accurately, this is an unboxing. And by unboxing, I mean I'm going to show you what was in the box. Mind you, I got this second hand rather than brand new. Brand new retail price is $59.99. Second hand at half price books, it was $30. So roughly half that. It was between the 11th Doctor source set or the 10th Doctor set. And ultimately I chose the 11th Doctor because even though I'm a huge fan of David Tennant and his run as Doctor Who, I got my start more so, or I've watched more episodes with Matt Smith, including The Day of the Doctor, The Time of the Doctor, and just that whole arc, than I did spending time with David Tennant's 10th Doctor. Now, starting off, what these sets gave you were books. Like, you got the rule books for the RPG within the starting sets. And this, of course, included the Game Master Guide and the Player's Guide. Now, it's interesting that you got both books in a starting set, but at the same time, this, again, isn't your traditional starting set. Most starter sets, you'll get like a dumbed-down Player's Guide, a small abridged adventure guide or Dungeon Master Guide, and some sort of starting adventure, which you get a starting couple of adventures here. And it's interesting to see what all has gone into this set and why it actually stands out compared to other starting sets for different other RPGs like the Pathfinder or the D&D starter sets. Now, the Player's Guide actually does go into detail on making characters. You learn different traits, different stats and abilities. The stats in this game, the attributes, if you will. Let me find the right page. You can have a maximum of 6 as a human in an attribute. And there's several of these attributes. There are 6 as there would be in most other RPGs. The character sheet in the back actually, other side. The character sheet in the back actually showcases them. They are awareness, coordination, ingenuity, presence, resolve, strength. Now, you might guess that these are basically the same as any other RPG, and to a certain degree you might be right. Awareness takes into account, your basic senses, your sight, your smell, your taste, your touch, your hearing. Coordination is your physical dexterity and hand-eye coordination. That's a given. Ingenuity, that's your knowledge. That's going to be your thinking. Presence, basically the charisma. Resolve is your willpower. And then the basic given is strength. So, for the most part, yeah, that is the basic stats. You got your wisdom, you got your constitution, you got your charisma, your dexterity, your strength, and your intelligence. Just differently named and different leans as to what makes them stand out as they normally do. Now, when you're making a character, you actually only have 24 points that can go into your attributes. And you start, if I'm not mistaken, at 2? Let me double check that real quick. You may start at 0 and you have to add the points that way. Hold on, I saw a very odd picture. Oh, no, now that makes sense. Now, you start off with 24. 18 are recommended to be spent on the attributes, and then 6 used for traits. Then get 18 for skill points, and 12 story points, which that can be reduced depending on the traits you purchase. So, okay, so I was about right. I was right on the second guess. You start at 0 and you build your way up from there. Now, mind you, this is more of a before than an after. I plan on doing a video after. It really gives my thoughts on playing this system and how it really flows. This is merely just an unboxing, so I have no idea fully what goes into actually playing the system. But it does give you a good idea of how you create your characters. Attributes, it lists all the different traits. One of them being Time Lord, so you can make your own Time Lord. One of them being Alien, you can play as aliens. In fact, in the Game Master's Guide, it actually gives an idea on how to make certain aliens that you face as player characters. So, for whatever reason you wanted to try and make a good Dalek, you could. But, if you've seen Doctor Who, last time I remember seeing the Doctor try and make a good Dalek himself, he instead made a Dalek-killing Dalek. That was 12th Doctor Capaldi. In fact, when he actually mentioned making a good Dalek, the Dalek was like, "No, Doctor, you are a good Dalek." Almost as if a stab in the back to what he was trying to do. Or at least slap in the face as a gentle rebuke. So, at any rate, there's a variety of different aliens you can be. It also talks about different types of conflict. Now, the one thing you've got to remember, Doctor Who, he doesn't really fight much. He's more about the social or mental overwhelming of his enemies rather than actually fighting them hand to hand. He's not much of a fighter. Not to say he's a coward, just that he's the kind of hero, I guess you can say, who relies on his brain and his speed to win rather than using weapons or punches or kicks or standard superhero stuff. He's a problem solver, but not in the physical way. So, more often than not in this game, you aren't going to be in physical confrontation. That said, there are rules over physical conflicts. And it's possible to be hurt and to be killed, especially if you are the Doctor. That said, there are rules for regeneration. Rules that, if I'm not mistaken, kind of got shifted once the 12th Doctor source book was released a couple of years ago, I want to say. So I'm well behind when it comes to the books themselves and the game itself. It's the first version of it I've gotten a hold of. I know there's a book based on the Day of the Doctor, and I really want to get that because the Time War is probably one of the more fascinating parts of Doctor Who lore, in my opinion. All that aside, let's continue on, shall we? The Player's Handbook, very good for a source book in teaching players how do you make your character, what can you do with them, where can you go. Now, before we get into the Game Master's Guide, we do include something pretty awesome. A whole heap of pre-made character sheets. This includes sheets involving the Doctor, Amy Pond, Rory Williams, River Song. Does she have a Time Lord trait? She has Time Traveler, but she doesn't have the Time Lord trait. That's interesting, considering her... Huh. All things considered for her, that's very interesting. Alright, and then Craig Owens, who appeared quite often in 11th Doctor stories. He's there, but he doesn't really want to be. So, with that, you know, that's a pretty solid 5 to get started on an adventure, but there also comes in the set a whole chunk of archetype-based character sheets. You get the politician, you get the unit soldier, in case you want to play someone from the unit special ops division. You get the scientist, the rock star, the footballer, if you want to be Wayne Rooney, the alien, and the adventuring architect. Or not architect, archaeologist, Indiana Jones. United Intelligence Task Force. You know, playing a unit operator actually seems fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think being like an alien or Indiana Jones would be awesome, but I think I'd have fun playing the unit guy. That said, that's all the customized, or all the pre-made character sheets. And now, for the next bit of info, or the next bit of thing you get as well, you get character sheets you can fill out. So, super helpful if you're making your own characters. Even better, person who sold this set in left behind printed out character sheets, so you can obviously make your own. Now, granted, this is lucky on my part. Not every set you buy secondhand is going to have something like this, but there are sheets like this online. I'm assuming that you can find and download and print off and have your own sheets for your home game. That said, this gives me options. I might make a doctor-like character, like a Time Lord, just go nuts. Depends. I might also make a unit guy. I don't know. Got a basis for one. Might as well use it. Holy crap, what am I doing? I had these in a certain way. Okay, just relax. Let's read this first, how to play. You know, your basics. Most starter sets have this. Um, gadget cards, okay? Different gadget cards, including the sonic screwdriver, river sonic screwdriver, her hallucinogenic lipstick, psychic paper, a data pad, a sonic blaster, diary, the engineer's mate, electronic lockpick, rear view scanner, vortex manipulator, engram eraser, so the neuralizer from Men in Black, and then you get a bunch of customizable gadget cards. You can make your own gadgets. Like, for example, if you wanted to introduce your own Time Lord sonic screwdriver, then you could. Although, as is the case of, as it says in the information for the Doctor Sonic, different items such as sonic pens, sonic lipsticks, so you can really make anything. Like a sonic ladder. Cumbersome to carry around, but you get the idea. Sonic flashlight. Sonic flashlight, there we go. On my Sonic. Now, the player's guide, the gadget cards, all of this. Now for the Game Master's book. And the Game Master's book is filled with the same thing you would find in any Game Master's book, any rule book or core rules for a game system. In this case, it comes with a briefing on making characters, how to run a game, stuff about time travel, including the TARDIS, Time Lord, time travel reapers. I forgot that was a thing. Aliens that are available within this set to face, based on early adventures of the 11th Doctor, including Weeping Angels, Cybermen, Daleks, Silurians. You know, there's quite a few. And then there's information on how to be the Game Master, and discussing different story, like what it means to tell a story within the universe of Doctor Who. Now, later rule books actually go into more detail on how to, from what I understand, they go into more detail over how you actually make stories, like including like one-offs, like specials, or full-on series / campaign, including finales. But so far, what I've seen coming in this box, you could tell just about any Doctor Who story you wanted, provided you use the aliens that are available and go nuts from there. Now, I'm actually considering picking up the 10th and 11th Doctor source books, which, who made this game? Cubicle 7. I plan on picking up their, because they made source books for first, second, third, excuse me, all the way down to the 11th Doctor for the 12th Doctor core book for the new edition. They made different source books for each, including different adventures, different aliens, different technology that can either help or hurt the Doctor and his companions on their journey through time and space. I want to get the 10th and 11th Doctor source books as well as Day of the Doctor, mostly because of the stories they can tell. Now, one thing I didn't mention, going back to character creation, is that this is a D6 system, more specifically a 2D6 system, which means you take 2D6, they give you six of these bad boys in the set. Take your 2D6, you roll, you take what you roll. In this case, I got a 4. And let's say I'm playing as, oh heck, why not? Let's say I'm playing as the Doctor. And I'm having to rely on my ingenuity to craft something. My ingenuity is a 9. My crafting is a 2. So that's already a 15. It's pretty strong. Now, let's see. What are my traits here? Coffin. Let's go to Player's Guide. Pull up that trait. Coffin. See if it adds anything to my roll. No, it doesn't add anything to my roll, but it definitely helps with making something. Now, technically adept might, so let's look up technically adept. I went straight to the weaker, or the weaknesses / bad traits, so let's so that is now a 17. That's actually a really decent setup, but from what I've also seen, not every roll can be solved at a 17. Some of them actually have to go higher, which makes for a very interesting time. You also get these things called story points, which can have an impact in the game. Like, say, you start off with a set pool of them. The Doctor, for example, only starts with 8. You can spend story points to add extra dice to your roll if you really need to succeed at something. Add an extra 2 dice to the result, or to ensure that you succeeded when you failed. It can also be used to tweak the roll to aid you, heal wounds, ensure that there's some wire you need to fix a machine in your pocket. If you do something brave and play true to your character, like playing up a bad trait, it's a good way to get extra story points from your game master. So overall, nice little thing to have access to in your adventures in time and space. And more to the point, definitely a good system for driving the story, driving the craziness that Doctor Who is really known for. The kind of comical mischief you'll typically see, while still maintaining the gravitas of what tends to happen when it comes to what the villains bring. Like, say, the Master, for example, Doctor Who's longtime nemesis, or the Daleks, or the Cybermen, or the Weeping Angels, what have you. There's a variety of different conflicts that can arise, and each one having its own weight, but the story points definitely lead way to a more... They give you the opportunity to really be more relaxed about it without really falling prey to what weight would normally be. Like, say you wanted to fail just so you could ensure something positive happens later, you get a story point for that. So my understanding is of the whole system. Again, this is all before. I'll probably have a much different reaction after, once I finally sat down to play it with some people. Thankfully, I have a few people in mind. It's just a matter of getting everyone together in one room long enough to play it. Now, the adventure is a pretty interesting one, and this one will probably actually get covered in detail after the playthrough has occurred. And this seems to center around the Cybermen. And then there's a part 2 that takes you against the Daleks. So right off the bat, you're against 2 very strong enemies in the Doctor Who universe. And that to me says you're in for a fun time. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing one of those 2 episodes, either as the game master or as a player. One of the interesting things about Adventures in Time and Space, no one has to be the Doctor. You can leave that for the game master to portray that role. And, sorry, if you do that, it does open up your character options. But if someone wants to play the Doctor, or if everyone wants to play the Doctor, have fun with it. Don't get upset if you don't get to play the Doctor, because there's still a lot of really cool options you can be. A lot of ways you can still affect the story. You don't have to be the Doctor to have fun. That's the best part about this. This game is not centered on the Doctor, and it doesn't rely on being the Doctor. Like I said, you can create your own Time Lord and be the one traveling around, cleaning up the Doctor's messes, if you will. You could be a unit soldier. You could be a Saurian trying to figure out a way to help their people as their world starts to just fall apart for one reason or another, and then their life gets thrown around when they meet the Doctor. So many stories you can tell without being the Doctor, or even with the Doctor taking a back seat. It's just amazing the possibilities there are. It's literally travel through time with Doctor Who's The Skin. You can travel around time, go to different eras, resolve different conflicts, battle aliens, explore space and time, and if you happen to meet the Doctor or the Master or any of these Time Lords along the way, it's a bonus. So, right off the bat, I'm already giving this a 2 thumbs up. It's still very early. Again, this is a before rather than an after. And if I get the chance to play it soon, which I'm really hoping I will over the course of the holidays, I will try and record my thoughts over the system when I have the opportunity. That being said, for now, I'd give this at least a 3.5 out of 5. I say it's a good system. There are still some complexities that I still haven't wrapped my head around, such as how to really resolve conflicts and whatnot. That's still some things I want to try and learn. So it's more based on my end than it is the system itself. But we'll have a more updated rating after video, after I've had the chance to play the system. So that has been it for this episode of KHDM Chronicles. This is one of my longer episodes to date, and I'm happy with it. So hopefully next time I get to tell you guys exactly how I feel about the system post-gameplay. Until then, see you, everybody.